Tale of Two Champions. That's in Baldur's Gate. Alright, Tale of Two Champions. Area 250, you can only field 2 champions at a time. That's right. That's why it's called A Tale of Two Champions. A Tale of 2 Years is one where it takes you 2 years. You have to give 2 years of get. No, that's not. That's not it. That's not how that works. All right, so A Tale of Two Champions. There's an optimal way to do this, and then there's just the brute force way. And the brute force way is just to have tons of favor. Okay, we're gonna do optimal, and optimal is start off with 2 like high gold fine champions. I don't know that it's gonna be Jarlaxle and Astarion per se, but I'm gonna start with Jarlaxle and Astarion because I feel like that's good enough. You know what? I'm just going to auto-level those. Now, the idea here is that these gold fine champions are going to earn you lots of gold so that you can level up your click damage. Because if you don't have a ton of favor, you need to earn gold. You need to earn gold. Now, we have a bajillion favor here, it feels like. So this isn't necessarily going to be a problem for us. Now, you don't want to bother with fire breath potions because your formation isn't going to be doing any damage. Like, any damage, really. You want your clicks. You want your clicks doing the damage. So, we're just going to run this up to, like, I don't know, 50 something. Ultimately, the idea here is you want to use this party. You want to use your 2 gold fine champion party for as long as you possibly can. Until they get overrun by the enemies, right? You can run them all the way. You can't run them all the way in the back. You can have them kind of like this, somewhat in the back. You're going to end up with either one in front and one behind. Take them as far as you possibly can, and even maybe even sit on a level. When you get to the point where we have way too much favor for this, but when you get to the point where the enemies are moving all the way up here, you're not able to kill them, and they start to kill your party, then you take out one of your gold fine champions. Leave in whatever the highest, generally producing gold fine champion is, and then you want to put in a debuffer. And my favorite one to use is also a tank. So Grama. I like to use Grama in this situation. So having a tank who's also a debuffer along with a gold find as kind of your second group is the big deal, because the tank will just be able to, they're going to debuff things on the way there. Your click damage will then kill them easier. This is where click debuff got its start. And if you'll note, I try to level up Grama. They don't go in the party because we can only have 2. And it doesn't even matter. Like, hey, the Dark Urge, nope. Like, you just locked in at 2 here. When they do get to the point where you don't have enough click damage and they start building up on Grama, Grama's a tank. She can handle it. And you'll be able to continue pushing forward. And then finally, at some point, you're going to need another debuffer. You're going to have a lot of click damage. You're just not going to be able to kill things with a click damage person in. And then you put in a second debuffer. My favorite, obviously, is Krull for that. That doesn't mean that has to be best. We've got Esmeralda and Orkira available now. Anyone that has a solid debuff that's going to increase damage from clicks, not just from champion, works. I like Krull because Krull is both debuffer and gold fine champion. So they can provide both. They can become the gold fine champion, but also a debuffer when I end up with just double debuff team. And from that point on, you're just trying to click your way to the end. And now again, favor is all because it's all about your click damage. Favor is the easy way you can beat this, getting lots of favor. But again, remember, at some point you're going to do this with patrons. An Elminster as a patron at a minimum, I think his is going to be 820 area 825. still only going to get 2 champions. So understand, even with a lot of favor, yeah, with enough favor, you could click all the way there still. But it's easier. Like, why try to grind your way there with favor when you can just do it with your champions? There's a phrasing. When you can just do it with the proper use of your formation. So we'll ride this out for a bit. I'm pretty sure we can level up our click damage all the way to. Oh yeah. Yeah, 230 something currently. Yeah, we could overdo. We could just run this whole thing with click damage, but we'll run it up and we'll demonstrate the different things as we go along. But the second group would look like I would probably at this point leave Astarion in, and I would put Gromma in, and then I would just level up Gromma, and I would use Circle of the Arctic for this, the OG Arctic spec. With Entanglement. Circle of the Arctic helps to imply a debuff, and Entanglement slows the enemies and cuts their attack speed in half, which is just going to give you a lot more time to click through them, right? And then ultimately they're going to come out and we would do Crawl, and Crawl for Crawl you want Pilfer. That's the gold find. That's the gold find. The other damage debuffs are going to be perfectly fine, right? So that's kind of, those are the situations you're going to want, but at the start you can just run the gold find champion. Run the gold find champion. Get yourself as much gold as possible. Make it easy on yourself. Because you may very well be relying on the bulk of the gold you get might be when you've got these two in, and you might just have to work your way to the end with next to nothing. Because once you take this double gold find team out, your gold find is going to drop through the floor, and it may be a long time before you level anyone up again. You close that now and get the ducks open. Look, there's lots of different ways to do it, Lurking Rider. I just mentioned you just need to switch to debuffers, and preferably one's a tank. You can do that with whoever you want. Whoever you want. But some champions are kind of built for this, almost it feels like, and some you can force into the situation, but not necessarily work as well. Again, favor's the big stick you beat things with sometimes, and when it comes to clicking and stuff, it's absolutely true. All right, what are we doing? What are we doing? What? How many hours do I have? My 30 hours? Do. Awesome. We're going to Infinity. Cool. You know what? Let's start a new Infinity. Cool. With all the ducks. Yes, please. All right. Brand new version of Infinity Cool with the audio off. The duck in the box just gets to sit here all the time. That's cool. Good for it. What we need to do is we need to actually test out. So it's Morse code But if you know Morse code and you figure out there's actually a message there at 97 inch. I don't know my Morse code. It is cool.
There's Maka.
Yeah, Maka, that sounds so cool.
Then this and then that.
Amazing. Are you ready to deep dive into the blue, my fellow listeners? Let's get it started.
I just wanted to listen to that once. All right. Oh, camera. Cool. I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know that was an option. All right. We're just gonna be chilling. Now here's the thing. It was 20 after the hour. Around 50 after the hour, so we're gonna need to have some audio on because we should now have met the requirements to spawn the king duck. The king of all ducks may come and visit us. He announces himself with some fanfare, and we'll want to be able to hear that in the background when it happens. Well, I have feat slots that unlock on a level above my maximum champion level, because you can click this button over here, which is your level up keyboard shortcuts, and unlock it to go up above whatever the maximum cap is. We call it over leveling. Also, at some point, the devs will raise the soft cap, that place where you can't level your champions up anymore. And it may go over that point, and then over leveling won't be required anymore. Yeah. So it's a function of, it's basically, hey, you need even more favor, you need to earn even more gold to be able to get to that part. Down here in the bottom left, this button. This tells you where you're going. How many levels you're putting on it. Double up arrow is basically the kind of default best option 99% of the time, but once you need to over level, you gotta unlock it. Yeah, you only have to do it the once and you keep it forever, so. What are we up to on gems? 37,000. Feel like, we're not hoarding. We're not hoarding. We're buying gold chests. Nice. 74. Let's see what we get out of 74 gold chests. Oh, feats! Bruner, Briv, Sentry. Yeah, alright, fine. We get full epic for Xeraphon. Excellent. But 10 large speed potions. Yes. 9 medium speed potions. Right. That was worth it. Look at that stockpile. Nice. Way better. And our Xeraphon is now full epic, which is great. So we're back to full epic on all of our Corn Evergreen, and I believe everyone has blue or better, right? We don't have any greens anymore. Oh, Beetle and Grim has a green. Well, we can fix that. We've got electors. We have the technology. We're just chasing one blue. God dang it. And they run through this whole pile. There it is. There it is. Now we're all blue or better. Now we're all blue or better. We have the technology. We can re-blue them. That kind of imply that you blew them once already. Phrasing. Phrasing. Right after this, we're going to need to do a forge run for a VOD. So let's take a look. Where are we going to want to do that? Wherever Karlach is. There we go. We're going to want to do that in Tomb of Annihilation. We'll be able to then upgrade Karlach, both the BBGs, Penelope's, one of Briv's. Don't worry about Grommas because we got BBG that we'll be using Karlach. We'll demonstrate how to properly do forge run. Properly level up legendary effects. This is your how manyth new account? I don't even know anymore. I had a bunch of WebGL accounts back in the day. But I don't even remember. I mean, if I did at least one a year, and we're in year 7, then I should have had at least, then this should at least have been the 7th account, right? Or the 7th, you know, starting fresh. Because the first initial one and then one for each of the subsequent years. Yeah, so I turned off the whole AFK camera thing, and then I stay on the duck I want the entire time. It's way better. Why didn't I learn this 36 hours ago? Always check the settings, folks. Always review the settings fully. Waves are loud today. Tavalar, good hero. She's in, like, I would say average tank. Who also happens to be a speed champion if there are fiends on the screen, fiend enemies on the screen. So, Brimstone Angels, of which she is a part of, could use a rework. So, but her, you know, yeah. When there's fiends on the screen, she gets a lot of bonuses to things. So she's better, you know, dealing with fiends, which obviously in Avernus there's a lot of, but people use her in their, like, Mad Wizard speed formations because there's a lot of fiends in Mad Wizard. Like, when they're first starting off, if they get her, she works as a speed champion for that. So... Well, for Nolly, the Brimstone Angels affiliation includes Mehen, so that was... They're not doing affiliation reworks anymore, though, so it would be one champion at a time. I'm just saying that whole affiliation needs a rework. Well, nowadays, Mahen, I mean, yeah, it's a Mahen functionality though when we were talking about Havilar, but nowadays the Mahen thing isn't as powerful because Dark Urge can go everywhere. As a DPS, you'll always have a DPS available. And Frida wasn't the most amazing DPS, in my opinion. Neither is Dark Urge, so it works. Kind of takes a little bit of the punch out of that Brimstone Angels trio in the whole Mahen functionality. Part of it. Let's speed this up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Gearless is a whole other world. Gearless is a whole other world. You can use all four, but when you have two champions that are both pure DPS champions, like they're not DPS support, then it doesn't really mean much. To be fair, both Frida and the Dark Urge both have like a little bit of all champs damage boost, but that's all they would be contributing. It's they're to each other. It's not a whole lot. Yeah, Nerfy, you gotta on Epic. If you've been playing for a while, you gotta close everything out and restart Epic and the client again to get a new token and then buy stuff. And then remember, if you're buying stuff, I got a code for that. If you use my name when you make your purchase, I get a percentage. That's what the EGS creator code is at the top of the screen. Thank you. Frida was cool when she came out. With Bud in the Bud world, like in the version of the game that uses Bud base ultimate damage, she's not as great because her major damage is her like the damage when you hit someone with that's either adjacent to her or within 2 adjacencies, depending on what your spec is. That Hellish Rebuke, and it doesn't set Bud. So her actual high damaging part of her kit isn't even the thing that sets Bud, which makes your party weaker. In a sense, because you could be killing things that are much bigger, and you do, because once they touch your party, they'll fall over to it. But it doesn't reflect in everybody else's Bud-based damage effects or like ultimates and other abilities. Which means she just hasn't been as great in this since they made Bud a thing in the game, because she came out before that. Strix joined the pool. You haven't seen the Strix. Here's Strix. Looks like a filthy duck. But that's just a bad paint job? That's just a bad paint job. Here in a second, all that paint's gonna wash right off. I love that it's a squeaky toy. Oh, that's funny. There it goes. Oh, there you go. Still a filthy duck. Still filthy. When the paint washed the shit, except she's not squeaky clean. This is the problem. problem. So for argument's sake here, we're going to coming up on area 154 where our click damage is at 154. For argument's sake, we're going to leave it at 154 and see where we start getting run over, and then we're going to swap champions just so that you can kind of see, like, if this were as high as I could get it, kind of have to create this situation. But if you're coming in with lower favor, because we have a bunch of favor here, if you're coming in with a lower favor amount, you know, you're going to have a different situation than this. And you're going to have to manipulate the formation properly. I'm going to go ahead and swap locations. What pushes the flamingo into the water? I have no idea. It just slowly, I think the wind, I think that's a wind. It slowly starts creeping towards the pool and eventually falls in, is what I've noticed. So if you'll notice, it's slowly taking a little longer to click through enemies. And pretty soon, oh no, our damage is going to kill them. Oh no. I leveled them up too high. I shouldn't have. We're going to have to adjust this. Alright. So if I put Gromma in, is he still going to do tons of damage? Probably is. There's another gold print champion I could have been using to simulate this. We could have been using Alan. Liquidity. But as you can see now, like if we were running out of gold and damage, we hadn't overleveled with our favor. Now we're still killing with clicks, but we're having to apply the debuff to do it. Like they're not dying. Like if I click back here, they're not really taking enough damage to move their health bar. But once Gromma applies her debuff, they start to die, right? And so that's the kind of combination you're looking for, is at the point when you can't level, if you're just not earning enough gold to level this up anymore, your click damage up anymore, and the enemies are moving towards your formation and kind of overrunning it, you need somebody in there that's a debuffer, right? Along with is whatever the best gold find you can get is. Again, we're artificially limiting ourselves here so that you can see how this works. But as long as we're applying a debuff, then we're going to be doing the damage. See, now the debuff is here. Now the hits from her are hitting it too, but as we go along, we would be able to slowly start, you know, upping. As we kill things, we'll still be able to, you know, increase our click damage as we go along. It's just going to increase slower. We're not going to stay ahead of it so much. And we would be leveling up Gromma and eventually adding a second debuffer, like if we take Merowyn out and we rely on a Crawl here. Then we're going to rely on a double debuff situation that is also going to generate gold, because Crawl can generate gold. We get a lot of pilfer stacks that can actually help you to level up your champions or level up your click damage, whichever needs to be the next thing you level up. If your survivability is fine, then you want to level up click damage, and you'd want to look for like efficient upgrades, like what would get us more pilfer? Nothing so far, right? What would get us more of a debuff over here, right? Like you would look for that stuff. More health if you're having health problems. And then you move forward like that. In this situation, yeah, we would, you know, ideally you're still pumping stuff into your click damage and you're able to get through this. Remember, when you have those blocks, like if it's like a downed log or something, you can manually click through those as well. You know, the enemies can be building up, and you can just click in here in the back and click through whatever the log is. Whatever's a hit-based thing is being a roadblock for you. Now see, this I called break because I thought this was like an Elvis duck. It's not. It's it's 70s duck. It's just 70s duck with an afro. And now I don't know. I'm still leaving it as break, but the name doesn't feel as good. No, look for pain. 240 would be a good upgrade. There's a health upgrade, so we live a little longer. You try to find the things that are going to make your pushing work better, while also then leveling stuff up. We're just going to go ahead and throw the 201. We got to get to what, 250. We'll see how under it we can be as we maybe level up some of our debuffers. There's more gold. Fine. So, Krull is just a great person for this. And you don't have to use Krull. Again, we could be using like Esmeralda or Kira. Anyone that's going to debuff enemies. But it's great to have a debuffer that's a tank. Yeah, I've always liked that this is a tale of two turtles. I always love using this combo because Tale of Two Champions, it becomes a Tale of Two Turtles. Hey, Onyx. Oh god, I can't see it. Good thing I know the code. I could not see what I was supposed to push. Give me that die. This is a soccer puck. Boom. I don't know this thing, man. The duck spawn button gave us another duck. Gave us marketing duck. Imagine an alternate world where CNE and Critical Role announced the newest champion, the Turtle Bard Orly. Yeah, Orly was cool. Orly was a cool turtle. Mersha Ray also played a turtle in Force, I think it was Force Grey. One of the Force Grey runs. Which is what everybody thought. Initially, everybody thought Gromma was that turtle. And I was like, no. That was... Oh! The UFO brought us click damage. Yay. Yeah, everybody thought that that's who Gromma was. And I was like, no. Not even the same name. She played Clarapin the Terrapin in like the finale and part of Force Grey, which was a Turtle Bard, which also would have been a super cool champion to come to Isle Champions. Force Grey survived the tomb. See if I can get. I think there's a horrible, ugly link, but there's a shot of There's the art for Clarapin the Terrapin, which is great. very much would have fit in to Idle Champions. 100%. 100%. But yeah, Gromma has a completely different vibe. Druid, after all. Druid. This is still my favorite one. With the octopus all stabby boy in the back. Realize Orkira exists. I thought you've been talking about Orkoria for several streams. No! Orkira. Orkira, the debuff champion, the one that breaks the game with Bud's Buggy. Yeah. Orkoria, no. Orkoria is like if you want to make a full magic attack party, like Orkoria is the booster for that, in the way that kind of Duke Ravengard is the booster for full melee, or mostly melee. Right? That'd be why you've never triggered it? Yeah, that'd be why. That'd be why. Kind of presuming gold, a certain amount of gold being found and leveling up, but this is basically how you'd shoot for leveling up to very specific places. Like I went from the Pilfer to the Pain, and then I wouldn't put more money into Crawl until I could get him all the way to 375 for that Pain as well. And I wouldn't put more into Gromma for a while. I'd want to put the money into click damage. Whatever gets me closer. No, I didn't. Nobody meant Ariza either. Global perks from patrons are like global blessings. Yes. Use them everywhere. Even when the patron isn't active. Yes. Correct. Local means with the patron active. Yeah, I mean, perks are something that you want to build up too. Yeah, that's another reason you do patron variants, is to get influence, not just so that you can buy stuff from the shop, but so that you can he's here, folks. Look at the top right. The king duck is gracing us with his royal presence. Oh my god. He's huge. He's huge. What the? That's a big duck. His Majesty is here. Look at that. He's so big. He's so big. He's a big boy. He's just gonna hang out there. You can't click on him or do anything with him, but and we didn't get an achievement or anything for that. Man, that should be an achievement. But no, it's just a special little in-game thing. He'll hang out with us now for the rest of the stream. You can turn the audio off now. But even if we were to come back here, like we were to save and leave and go to a different map and then come back in, he'd be gone, and he wouldn't appear again until you played another 30 hours of the game. He only shows up, you have an opportunity to get him once every 30 hours. Yeah, Ducky with a trident and a big crown. big boy. Big boy. You know, no, he's not a duck that you get to claim. He is just King Duck. I don't think. Hold on, I go to collections. Doesn't show up here. Doesn't show up here. Doesn't show up here. Show up here. Doesn't show up here. And doesn't show up here. Yep. So he's not a collectible. He's just a neat thing that can happen only on this map. It's only on the Infinity Cool map, and only after you've played the game for 30 hours. And then you have to, once you load in, you gotta wait 30 minutes. You gotta wait 30 minutes. But as you can see, because we're limiting our click damage here, because I don't know how much we'd realistically be having. I'm gonna find, what could we level up if we were able to do like 375 to pain. There you go. Boom. Boom. We could, which champion would the king be? It'd be Brunor. That'd be Brunor Battlehammer. Brunor's the king. Come on. I don't think we have any other kings in our game. Brunor's the twice king of Mithril Hall and current king of Gonalgrim. Put some respect on his name. I like the sunset view of this. This is good. Yeah, it's the King Duck, so you name it after the King Dwarf. I don't think I can do a full dwarf formation. I don't know. I haven't looked. I don't think so. Hold on. Let me reset. Raw erase. Dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you have Caddy Bree and Wolfgar, but the problem is Wolfgar's in the same slot over here as these two. And then you could get Caddy Bree here in 7. She's got a dwarf feat. So you could have 6 right now, currently. Yeah. I've been pushing for more dwarves for a very long time. It's just they don't, nobody's really making dwarves and playing dwarves in popular TTRPGs. Alright, I think everybody gets the idea of this, so we're just gonna wreck it. Because of course, if you can just level up your click damage to 250, you can just drive right through this. And in that case, you could swap and just throw in speed champions if you wanted. Because, why not? Because why not? Who are the other speed champions? I don't even know. I don't know that it matters. BBG, sure. Actually, I don't think he would work here. Whittle. Response speed. Current chest opening strategy that includes patron chests for an event champion? Is that what you want? I think if you're getting super hyper finicky about opening your chests for an event champion, you start with 1 named gold. So you would start after earning 1 named gold, because that would potentially give you a blue and a green for 2 different slots, right? Then you would go, if you don't have then there's 2 ways to do it. If you don't have a lot of electrums, you would open silvers to try to get some, to get to greens. If you do have a lot of electrums, you just pop the electrum, like named silvers. You just pop the electrums to try to get to greens, and then any named silvers would be duplicate item levels after that. And then once you're green or better from that combination, if you still need blues, like if you didn't get all the way to blue from that, technically then popping patron chests for that champion qualifies for could then potentially get you to blues if you have enough of them. And you could get all the way to blue from those patron chests. And then you would use, once you were full blue, then, well, you could go all the way to full epic with that if you wanted, but ultimately you'd save the named golds for last, because you know where they're going, and then they're going to give you dupe item levels. So if you're trying to be hyper efficient, that would be the way to do it. Generically speaking, just electrums into named silvers into named golds works just fine. But if you're really trying to be finicky about it, there's that really granular way of optimizing the chests that you're opening based off the resources that you have. Yeah, I mean, again, if you want to get funky about it, you can do that. But if you don't, electrums in a name, silvers in a name, gold. Still works. Still works. All right, there's a Tale of Two Champions. Just remember, ideal strategy, if you don't have a ton of favor, obviously favor is going to just blow this away, but if you don't have a ton of favor, start out with your gold find team, then transition into a gold find person with a debuffer, preferably a tank debuffer, but just a solid debuffer will work, and then transition into double debuffers, and you should be fine. Should be. All right.